Hi there, beautiful family. Well, there's nothing I'm telling you right now that you don't already know, that we are in huge, unprecedented, pretty epic times actually here on our planet. We know that there's a lot of fear happening around, a lot of collective anxiety, and we also know that there's an undercurrent of a sense of this being the time that a lot of us have been kind of waiting for, that we've almost been a little frustrated, I guess, at times at the speed at which this awakening for our planet is happening. And with any great transformation, if you think about it, any great transformation at all, there has to be chaos, destruction, transmutation, annihilation, for evolution to occur. And this goes right back to just scientifically. If you look into a petri dish, you know, beautiful Dr. Bruce Lipton will describe this to you if you read any of his work or look at any of his work. You know, if you look into a petri dish and you have a cluster of cells that are all living harmoniously, perhaps not so harmoniously sometimes, but there's no actual evolution or change taking place. And then you introduce a cluster of something else, or another cell of a different kind, something that's foreign, that creates chaos in the petri dish, and then it forces the other cells to regather, regroup, and to evolve into something stronger and better, right? You could use the analogy of the butterfly, you know, the caterpillar who makes its way into a chrysalis after devouring everything in sight. And like my teacher, my beautiful teacher Barb Stone says, you know, that's representative of the materialism that we've all been stuck in. So, you know, gobbling up as much as we can, greedily, everything in sight. And then it goes through this major process of transformation to become a butterfly, where it goes into the chrysalis and it's literally devoured from the inside out. So there's not a single cell that remains the same when the caterpillar becomes and emerges as the butterfly and spreads its wings and flies. And the amazing thing, of course, about the butterfly is that if someone was to come along and try and crack that cocoon open to make it easier for the butterfly to emerge, the butterfly's wings will never open. So not only would the butterfly never realize its highest potential, but it would most likely perish. And so while we would love for somebody to come along and wave a magic wand and rid us of everything that's happening on the planet now, I believe with all my heart, and I know that, you know, maybe it might be difficult for some people to hear, although I trust if you're watching this, you're probably one of the people that are on board with the essence of what I'm sharing, because there's many of us out there feeling this way, that this is a necessary part of the process. Think again of the phoenix rising from the ashes. The phoenix just doesn't miraculously appear as this winged being of light. It literally has to be devoured by the flames of transmutation, the flames of transformation, for the phoenix to then rise again in a new form. And so this is the global awakening that we're going through right now, disguised as a crisis, and on many levels. And that's not taking away, once again, it's not taking away for a second, with the deepest compassion and love for everyone who is affected in any way, which is all of us actually. We are all, you know, this is the great unification too. In some way, each and every one of us are feeling this. So at the same time as it feeling very isolating for some people, it's also extremely unifying to know that on some level we are all really and truly in this together. We've said it over and over again for years. We're all in this together. Well, yeah, guess what? We really are. So having said that, this, for me, whenever heavy energies are coming, and this has been a part of my process in growth, and I don't always get this right, by the way, but I do my best to do my best, that whenever there is something heavy happening in life, or there's energies being directed at me, in this case for us globally, it's this virus and all that comes along with it, we have two choices. We can either let ourselves get taken out by it and spiral down into the fear and the anxiety, or we can use that energy and what's coming to us as fuel to make us stronger, as fuel to make us more determined, and we can direct our energy with that fuel, using this current situation as the fuel to create real and lasting change, and perhaps even elevate the speed of the ascension process on this planet that we have all been waiting for. So, you know, we hear this, the dawning, the age of Aquarius. Well, perhaps this is really the new dawning. Perhaps this is the first light, the first true light of the rays of the new sun. So what can we do? Okay, well, one thing that I think would be super helpful for us to do together, not super helpful, extremely helpful and very necessary, and I'm happy to put my hand up to help with this in any way possible. There is a meditation that is going around on YouTube at the moment to people, to be done on the 5th of April. Now, what's happening on the 5th of April is a conjunct, I'm just going to get this right, between Jupiter and Pluto. So there's a conjunction point between Jupiter and Pluto. Now, you don't need to be an astrologer to understand what's going on here, and please check out astrology channels or with an astrologer that you know to understand the mechanics of what's actually happening here. But all you really need to know is that this is opening a gateway or a portal on the planet that allows extreme amounts of light to be accessed and anchored on the planet. So if we can come together in a global meditation at this time and unify our fields, unify our attentions, and unify our energies together through meditation at the exact time that this conjunct is happening, then we can not only facilitate enormous healing on this planet by anchoring this light, anchoring these healing codes, these healing rays on the planet, but we can also create a global tipping point to elevate our ascension process into the 5th dimension. When we talk about the dimensions, by the way, we're talking about levels of consciousness. So there are dimensions in the realm of spirit, you know, where there's different levels of spiritual planes, but when we're talking about dimensions of consciousness, or talking about moving into 5D from 3D, we're not actually saying that we're going to be leaving this planet and going somewhere else, or that the world, the physical world that we see around us, is going to change. We're literally talking about elevating or ascending into a new heart-based level of consciousness. We've been in the paradigm of the mind. You know, we call it the masculine paradigm of fear, control, domination. I'm not talking about the divine masculine, but the old school map of the world masculine. And P.S. there's also, once upon a time, the feminine were also out of balance. So it's not about creating an imbalance again. It's just about making that journey from the mind, from the overactive monkey mind, and into the heart. In fact, when you look at ancient cultures, a lot of you know I'm in the Andes Mountains a lot, and you go into these ancient cultures that are thousands and thousands of years old, pre-Inca, way pre-Inca, and you see these deities and they're holding their smiling faces, their smiling heads in their heart. Now, once upon a time, the anthropologists thought that they put it down to saying that they are a decapitating race. They weren't at all. There was no evidence of sacrifice or of decapitation in warfare in many of these cultures. What it's depicting is integrating the ego mind, the thinking, logical, analytical, rational mind, with the wisdom of the heart. We call it heart-mind coherence in modern day, quantum physics, epigenetics, whatever you want to call it. In the language of the modern day science, we call it heart-mind coherence, but it's really about making this journey from the overactive thinking monkey mind into the wisdom of the heart. So this is moving from 3rd dimension into 5th dimension. Okay, so this situation that's going on at the moment is giving us a perfect opportunity. The fact that the word corona means crown, we're literally having an opportunity to birth into a new way. So I'm going to invite you to join me for this meditation. You can do it yourself on YouTube, although I don't believe it's a guided process. They've actually put the process up there that you can do yourself. But if you feel like you would like to join with a group of like-minded global team light workers, team light, because that's you, then I'd love to invite you to join me and others and I'll guide you through this process that they've asked us to do at exactly the time. The time is on the 5th of April at 12:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's Sydney time. Of course, if it's Brisbane, it'll be an hour before that. Perth, I think maybe 3 hours before that. I'll post the times globally because they're obviously we have the entire world. The aim is to get 144,000 people across the planet doing this together simultaneously. Right? That's the tipping point. That's the number that we need to really make a shift in the consciousness, but also to bring these healing rays through so that we can dismantle this program that is spreading like wildfire across the planet at the moment. And then if you feel to join me and stay with me after that, I'm going to be guiding us or facilitating or leading us through what's called a despacho ceremony. So a despacho is a very ancient offering from the Andes. The origins originate in the Andes Mountains in Peru. This is something that has been handed to me through my lineage, the lineage of the seven rays through my Maestro Puma. And it's something that we practice regularly, and it's a way, this despacho is particularly going to be for harmonizing the energies on the planet at the moment, for anchoring in the new codes and frequencies of light and healing, and as a gratitude, as a thank you for our Pachamama, for our Mother Earth, and for all of the guardians and the beings that are working together with us at this time. So it will be a seeding of your powerful prayers, and it will also be an offering of your deepest and most heartfelt gratitude for the richness and the beauty of this life and this planet. So my darlings, thank you so much. Have a look below for the times of the meditation and the Zoom link that you can connect in on, and I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible on the 5th of April, maybe the 4th, depending where you are in the world, but just keep an eye on those times, and I'll see you then. Thank you, all my love. We're in this together. We can do this together. Go Team Light.